Hey everybody, Hunter 1930s original fan collector, etc. back with another video, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to install a Casablanca Spirit of Saturn ceiling fan. Since some of you guys may have not noticed how to put this fan together, since some of you guys have gotten one but didn't know how to put it together, we're going to show you how to put it together and make it look like this. Turn the power off at the circuit breaker box. Be sure to read the instruction manual before installing this fan so this can be a safe and efficient process. First step to do is we install the mounting bracket. And of course, this generally comes with a crossbar mounting bracket, as you see here, for the fan. And also I'm going to install this plate above it so you can keep the wires out of the way and less clutter. So this plate goes above the crossbar bracket. And also another thing to make sure is your box is fan rated like this one is. Since this is a pancake rated box, and there we go, like that, like so. So yeah, make sure. And yes, be sure your box is fan rated is because fans weigh heavier than a light fixture. And also, not to mention that, as we say, as included, you gotta make sure safety is our #1 priority. So our screws go into the mounting bracket like so, and we come up like that. And align the holes with the box and screw them in with fingers first. And generally this has 2 screws for this part. And now we tighten up with a screwdriver, and this is Phillips for this part. And make sure this is tight because you don't want the fan going anywhere. Next step is we installed Canopy. And this fan will come with 4 screws to hold the canopy on, 3 to hold this piece up, and 1 to hold the hatch on. So we're going to install these 3 screws in first. Of course, you want the hatch facing towards the way the wires is coming out, so it can make your wiring a lot easier. First, put the screws in the canopy, and then find the screws that align up with the holes of the mounting bracket and screw those in. And note, you put in the 3 screws out of the 4. Don't install the 4th one until you do your wiring and all that. And note, not all Casablanca fans have this, but before we move on to the next step, we have to install our recall clip. Because this fan, some of your Saturns may have the recall hang true, because I know the Saturn came out in 1986 and was discontinued around like 1994, so for a period, the recall period was from 1981 to 1993. So this fan is dated from 1988. so I have to put in the clip. And remember, safety first. So as I said, before you continue on installation, if you don't have the clip, get the clip from Vintage Fans and More, so you're always safe without any problems. Now it's time to hang the fan. Now when we hang the fan, be sure you have the hang true canopy up there good, because you don't want this thing coming off and falling down in your face. Since I'm on the exposed exposed ceiling part where the box goes past the thing, I have to have it a little bit loose. So, but however, if you're on a more permanent test area, then this part is not really necessary. So align the the ball with the notch in the groove. So yeah, with the clip. So this fan hangs nice and snug. Now it's time to do the wiring of the fan. And always make sure your power is off at this point, because this could really save your life in general. We're going to be starting off with the green wire. We're going to wire the green to green, or green to copper for that matter. Just tie those together and tuck that into the canopy. Now, for these last two remaining wires, we're going to continue, and we're going to move on to the white neutrals, which of course is white to white. You tie these two together, as you see here. And you tuck that away in the canopy. And now our last wire, which is our hot wire. And this is the most dangerous wire, because this is the one you get zapped the most with. And if you don't feel comfortable, as I'm going to say this to you, call a licensed electrician if you're not comfortable with this, because this can really cost you a lot, because if you don't know how to do it. And note, I am not a licensed electrician, but I'm very, very comfortable doing this job, so I'm willing here to teach you how to do it too, either way. Black to black, as you see here. Match color to color, because this is very important, because you don't want a house fire or sparks, because if you're doing it the wrong way, that can cause sparks or something like that, or blow a fuse or something like that. So that's why it's very important to match color to color correctly. So now, last step is get our last screw and install the canopy hatch. And that goes right here. Which is very easy. Just gotta screw this hatch on. Slap screw in. Hold the canopy hatch in place, because I don't want this thing to come off anytime soon. So this covers up the wires too as well. So so this will take some patience, so just be careful. Take your time, don't hurt yourself. But on the longer rod, it's much easier to work with. But since I'm on the really short little down rod, it's harder to work with. So just keep in mind, this will take some time and take some patience. Get the hatch on in place. Yeah, it does take patience and time, so just be careful. So don't, because you don't want to strip or damage anything or hurt yourself. So. tell it does take some time to get the connection on. And we're almost there. Just keep screwing it in. Since our hatch is on, now we're going to head to the ground and install our fan blades to our blade arms. Now we're going to put together our blades to the blade arms. Your fan will come with 15 screws, 3 screws for each blade to the blade arm. Of course, when we do it, we're going to take our screws, take our 3 screws, and take a blade. But these blades are reversible. The older ones have pinstripe blades on one side, plain black on the other. But we want the pinstripe side down. So, align the holes from the blade arm to the blade. And take your screws, put them in the blade iron, just like so. And align these 3 together and just start screwing them in a little bit. So, just like so. And take your screwdriver, which is your flathead, and start tightening these screws down. And after that, repeat the process for the rest of the remaining blades. And make sure these are tight too, because you don't want a fan blade in your face too. Like so. Now it's time to assemble the blades to the motor. First of all, some Casablanca Spirit of Saturns will allow you to do 4/5 blades. But this one is a 5 blade only flywheel, so this will only allow me to do the 5 blade configuration. So some fans, like from the 90s, like that. So yeah, it will allow you to do 4/5. So now it's time to install the blades you desire, how many blades you want on the motor. Since this is 5 blade only, I'm going to only install 5. And align the holes with the screws from the blade holder to the flywheel holes, so that which will allow you to screw in the blades to the flywheel. And as you can see, this process is pretty easy. So after you get the screws aligned and everything, start screwing in the screws and all that. And just to let you know that some Saturns, as I said before, will only allow you to install 5 blades only. But a lot of them would allow you to do 4/5. So yeah, after this step, keep repeating the process for all 4 remaining blades. Now it's time to install the light bulbs and the glass diffuser and the rings. First of all, some Saturns will have intermediate base bulbs like this one does. And some may have halogen. The ones with halogen, you do not want to touch the glass bulb with your fingertips because the oils on your fingertips will shorten the lamp's life. But however, since the intermediate base bulbs, since this one requires intermediate base bulbs, that's a different story. Since this one uses 3 of those bulbs, screw the bulbs in to the bottom of the light fixture like so. And this one, since this one requires 3 bulbs, just screw those in. And make sure your finger screws are loose enough so you can put on the diffuser. Now it's time to install the glass diffuser to the bottom of the light kit cap. Slide the diffuser through the bulbs and put them up and align the fitter part with the diffuser and tighten the diffuser down with the 3 side screws holding on the glass diffuser. And make sure you snug them up to a good amount of tension. Do not over tighten because that will break the glass diffuser. Now it's time to install the glass rings. For the glass rings, some of them are made out of acrylic, some of them are made out of glass. Since this one is made out of glass, there's 2 posts on the bottom right here, the closer holes that are closer holding these 2 screws at the bottom together to hold these rings together. So make sure that part aligns up with the switch cap of the Saturn rings along with the Saturn ring post. Make sure, bring them up, slide them through the center hole of the rings, through the diffuser, and tighten down the 2 side screws to hold the rings on in place. Be careful not to drop the rings in the process because these are hard to find replacement parts for the glass rings. So just snug them up like so. Snug these screws up on holding the glass rings in place. Do not over tighten either because you will break the glass rings too. You will run the risk of doing that. And that includes installing the light kit. Now it's time to install the IntelliTouch wall control. W11 will come with 2 wires in the back of control. Sometimes with the black with the white stripe or the black wire. If the fan and light responds to the wrong buttons, reverse these 2 wires. So, however, we're going to start with the installation with this fan. Installing it with the and then the other wire will connect to the fan. One of these leads will connect to the hot wire of the house, and one will go directly to the fan. But for W32, you got a black with the white stripe, and the black with the white stripe goes to the hot wire of the house, while the black wire, the pure black wire for the W32 will connect to the fan. So we're going to tuck these wires in since this fan actually, and we're going to put our screws back in. and put your cover plate back on. Once you're done installing the fan, turn the power back on and you're ready to try it out. And that's that. Your Casablanca Spirit of Saturn ceiling fan has been successfully installed. Thank you for watching.